December 29, 2023. We're at Mesa Verde with Deb and Herb Koch. The Visitor Center. Dedication to Pueblo and Tribes. Mesa Verde would like to thank the following Native American pueblos and tribes for their continuing support of the park's mission. We have very pentagraph type of symbols here. And you can see a pueblo climbing up the mountain to the cliff dwelling. If we go out a little bit, you can see the sun just shining right through. The Mesa Verde Visitor Center. Mesa Verde National Park Visitor and Research Center. Welcome to Mesa Verde National Park. Now you can see the cliff dwellings there. Look at that, the USS Mesa Verde. So here's where we are right now, at the Visitor Center. And we're going to go into the park and view whatever we can of all the dwellings. Walking straight in, a nice eagle silhouetted on the floor, an Indian storyteller, and a super view of Mesa Verde National Park. So, what is open today?
Okay, so we're up over here.
Yeah.
It's about a 45-minute drive down to where the cliff dwellings are. So the main three recommendations I have for folks who are visiting right now, which is honestly the same one I give in the summer, stop at the museum down over here. The Mesa Top Loop down over here is the 6-mile driving loop with 11 different stops. You see a lot of different dwellings down over there. And then on your way back up this way, stop at the Farview sites.
Okay.
Up over here, which is a series of Mesa Top villages that you can get quite up close to.
Nice.
Great.
Super. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
John,
John,
appreciate it.
no problem.
This is Bruce Treehouse. Well, this is nice that we're able to go down to this dwelling. Nice hike. Well, we are on the trail. And you can see the dwellings way back there, the cliff dwellings. Pitous. So we have this cover to the Pitous. And once you get into the Pitous cover, you see the Pitous itself. First Permanent Homes. And they had a nice building on top of it too.
Do you remember this?
I do. Establishing a time frame. This Pitous is the first stop on the Mesa Top because it is one of the earliest homes built. But how do archaeologists know this? Notice the pile of fire-hardened mud plaster. Look for the burned remnants of a thick layer of adobe that covered the wooden frame of the Pitous roof and walls. Although the Pitous burned, tree rings from the charred wood fragments that remain date the construction of this pit house to about the year 595. A new way of life. And one of my most favorite archaeologists. Sustenance toolkit. So that's what these guys had when they were going around taking care of their crops, planting their fields, and sustaining their families. Navajo Canyon Overlook. Landscape of home.
Oh, this is well worth stopping.
You got that right. Look at that. I don't see any dwellings, do you?
No, there's not supposed to be here.
But it sure looks like a nice place to have one.
It's just
Getting the morning sun. Oh, those mountains way back there. That's Arizona. We're that close to the border. And you saw it here, fans. Beautiful clear sky.
oh, this is nice.
Square Towerhouse, preserving a precious legacy. So there you can see the Square Tower House. And if you look in the shadows there, there's a lot of Square Tower House there.
Yeah, it goes way back in there.
Yeah, and you can barely see me waving. Do you see my shadow?
No.
See where that
Okay.
square is?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
then-
Now I see it.
Yeah.
I see.
Very nice.
It is.
Pit houses and pueblos. There's evidence of two pit houses here. The first built sometime after 675. Notice a tunnel-like ventilator shaft on your right that brought fresh air into the dwelling. You can see this pit house, how they had it circular and a shield there for the fire pit. This new technology was still used over 400 years later. Nice fire pit. See if we can see inside the fire pit. Oh yeah. There you can see where the fire would be and the draft would come in from the building. Well, I guess it was a way to live at one time. How did we live here? Looks like a replica of their activities. So we have a second one that we can look at.
I think there's more than one.
Wow. So first village, 850 CE. Nice that they saved these Pueblo shelters and they put it into these nice buildings to protect them. And now there's a second dwelling over here. Age of Stone. You can see how deep this is, and the fireplace is a lot higher than the other one. So these might have been like saunas or religious places. You can see the fireplace here, or the fireplace chimney. New meaning for an old structure. This circular underground room, part of the second village, represents another important change occurring in ancestral Pueblo life. Transition of pit houses as family homes to structures called kivas. Small household kivas like this one may have been used for a mix of routine and special purposes. In Pueblo villages today, kivas have special uses and meanings. Throughout the year, kivas are used for the same purposes that they were in the time of ancestors. Kivas are used for religious dances, ceremonies, celebrations, and annual gatherings. Kivas tend to be bigger, rounder, and deeper than previous pit structures. Familiar landscape. I'm glad to see that they have another building to protect the Pueblo sites. This large, deep, and impressive kiva, built about 1074, is part of the last village built on this site. Changes in architecture and artistic expression made this time period an exciting time. People at Mesa Verde were adopting new materials, technologies, and styles that were being shared throughout the region. Pueblo oral tradition says that those who left this area during the warm, dry period in the late 800s migrated toward Chaco Canyon, located about 100 miles to the south. By the time this village and kiva was built 200 years later, Chaco had become a large and complex social system. Could ideas from Chaco have influenced Mesa Verde communities like this one? The kiva and the surrounding plaza are still the religious and sacred centers of the Pueblo communities. The kivas people see at Mesa Verde are like the kivas that Pueblo people still use today for religious activities and social activities, and as gathering places for the community. I always like to see the fireplace. It looks like they got a little bit of a tunnel going underneath there. Look at that. And that's where it goes through and in and out. Preserving the past. Got some geological equipment here. Sun Point Pueblo is right off the road. Time of transition of what once was a medium-sized Pueblo village and one of the last Mesa top Pueblos built on Mesa Verde. Looks like a tunnel here to get to the next dwelling. The tower and kiva, protected today by the shelter, were central to the community and were surrounded by at least 10. You found it, huh? And were surrounded by at least 30 rooms. This small town village was inhabited for less than 2 generations. Those living here eventually moved into the cliff dwellings. They probably took most of the stone blocks and wooden timbers with them, incorporating them into new villages that were being built into the alcoves. Well, we see some dwellings in the distance. Now, way in the back, you You can make out some in the cliff. Well, you can see way in the distance there, in the cliff, dwellings. And if you go down, you see even more on the south side of this. Oh, and there's some straight away. You see the tall building in the center. Going down, you can see remnants of the village. And you can hear quite a few of the villagers. It was quite an international community. Fire Temple Firehouse. If you look carefully, you'll see them all over this cliffside. Well, look at that, right into the cave there of the cliff. We get into another cave where another village is established. Here we get a nice view of the dwellings, and there's a whole village here, multiple levels. How nice. Fire Temple. Public places. Fire Temple shows little evidence of domestic activities and contains what experts call a highly formalized plaza, public architecture that may have served as a dance plaza or great kiva. Plaza activities were more publicly visible. These public spaces may have served not only the surrounding community but hosted ceremonies which attracted populations from great distances. The Sun Temple. And we are in the sun today. Sun Temple is a never-ending source of speculation for scholars and visitors alike. It was built sometime in the 1200s and was part of the community of cliff dwellers that surrounded it. And the Sun Temple overlooks this valley here. Its D-shaped outline, no evidence of roofing, few doors or household artifacts, and massive architecture is unlike any other structure in the park. Of the few similar D-shaped buildings found in the region, it is the only one not built within a pueblo. Could it have had social, ritual, or even symbolic functions? So there's something here. Let's take a look at the peephole. Long way in. Some studies suggest it had a role in celestial observations. So let's see if we can get a view over the wall. That's what it looks like on the inside. How did the inspiration to build a structure like Sun Temple arrive in Mesa Verde? It looks like a ceremonial pit of some kind with the ceremonial cactus. Ancestral Pueblo people were in touch with the regional trends thanks to a strong trade network. Oh, we have another nice Pueblo village. They had a real community in this cliff area. Let's see if these rocks get over the side, that we can climb up them and take a better look. Items from hundreds of miles away, shells from the Pacific Ocean, parrots from Mexico, and copper bells from western Mexico were traded into the Mesa Verde region. Looks like a nice place to be rather than having to go down the cliff dwellings to those houses. I'd rather live up here. Cliff Palace view. Look at that. The sun is shining on it. We should have the best view ever. Let's get a close-up of this little village here. Right in the rocks. Oh, you look in the darkness, you can still see some back there. So it's not just what's up front, it's in back. Boy, this was quite a village. Look at how far back it goes, real nice. Now they got their ladder there. And they got their tall building, their tower. Cedar Tree Tower. Let's take a look and see what they have here. Looks like a storage area here. So this was a little bit of a high rise. Let's speculate. Towers are found scattered across Mesa Verde. Why were they built? Archaeologists speculate they were special observation locations or ceremonial sites. Curiously, some towers are connected to ceremonial chambers, kivas, by tunnels. Perhaps some towers like Cedar Tree Tower provided a lofty location for significant social events. Yay, team! Well, those Pueblos knew how to live. The Pueblo Indian climbing up the cliff with his harvest. Good day's work. What a beautiful view of these mountains. Right outside of the visitor center. Snow-capped, majestic, beautiful. A key spot to any trip. Yes, restrooms.